Welcome back, YouTube. Today I want to talk to you about how you can nail your reverse diet or your post-show phase. The diet is over, the prep is over, the glamour, the shiny lights, posing trunks, the bikinis, the trunks are out of the way. And what do we do now? How do we approach this phase? I would argue the post-show phase, post-diet phase is by far the most important phase of your entire season, but it's also the hardest. That is the time of the year where a lot of people lose motivation. They often start to feel lost. And today, I am going to give you the tools to not only nail your reverse diet, but set up your off season for incredible progress. This phase is all about setting yourself up for progress and for your next prep. The way I approach any post-show phase or any reverse diet phase, it's simply an extension of prep. The discipline that carried you here, the discipline that got you on stage, has to be carried forward into your post-show phase. The amount of times that I have struggled post-show without the tools and guidance that I believe could have saved me not only time, but improved my health and improved my ability to add muscle, make more progress, feel better, but most importantly, not lose the condition that I worked so hard to get in a matter of weeks, down to lack of discipline, lack of structure, and lack of true guidance on what to do after the diet is over. Now, let's talk about some of the mistakes that people make when it comes to approaching a post-show phase or any reverse diet. I do believe a lot of people tend to not only lose the day-to-day routine, but they often start to overindulge and overfeed. This is where it's incredibly easy for you to actually gain body fat. Your body isn't primed and ready to grow yet, depending on how lean you've gotten. And the leaner you actually get, the less likely you are to build muscle initially in that phase. So your body isn't primed to gain muscle. What your body is primed to do is simply get very, very out of shape very quickly if you do tend to lose track of your diet and take a little bit of a looser approach. Essentially, what you want to be aiming for is staying in a very small surplus across your entire week without pushing your surplus above and beyond with single off-plan meals. The biggest mistake I see people make post-show and in any reverse diet is actually under-eating across entire week, then overfeeding in one single meal, which then essentially that will push their surplus up for the entire week, seeing the body weight rise, but in the week, they're actually eating at maintenance and even in some cases in a calorie deficit to make up for that huge surplus and huge intake of calories that they are having at the weekend or randomly in the week. So you have to be cautious of that, because the quickest way to recover post-show, if you have gotten through the stage lean, is staying in a small surplus, is gaining some body fat, but in a controlled fashion. If you have achieved true contest condition, you'll likely need to gain a little bit more body weight initially within that first week to recover, if you feel like you need to, and then that rate of gain slows down across the rest of your recovery / post-show phase, which should take between 4 to 6 weeks, in my opinion, in majority of cases. It may take longer if you are looking to restore some of the health markers that have been skewed. But in general, if you have executed your prep correctly, there should not be that much skewing of your health markers. Here is my 7 points that I think you should take into consideration to truly nail your post-show phase or your reverse diet phase. Point number 1, and I think that's a huge point that people often overlook, is staying in a small surplus across the week and not overfeeding and putting yourself in a huge surplus off the back of one single cheat meal every single week. When you do this, you will actually prolong your recovery because you are not giving your body adequate calories all micronutrients that your body needs at this time to not only recover, but fuel your training performance, fuel your ability to function, and restore your general health, well-being, and sleep. In order to stay in a small surplus, you will need to track your food and track your calorie intake. I would definitely advise tracking your off-plan meals, roughly at least, so that you are matching your calories across the day when you do choose to eat off-plan or have social occasions. Post-show is a time where we do restore a little bit of balance and give back to your loved ones. However, it's not an excuse to just eat like a pig. You have to have self-control. And essentially, you need to kind of maintain, you quite literally need to maintain the discipline that you had in prep and the ability to say no. You have to eat to your needs, not your appetite. Track your off-plan meals, stay in a small calorie surplus, and make sure you are giving your body adequate calories across the week and you are not pushing your surplus through just single off-plan feedings. That is one quick way to get fat and not restore your actual health. Point number 2, set your timeline. The first thing I plan when I come off stage and I finish my shows is not only my diet and my training, which should already be put in place before you are stepping off stage. And at the very least, you should have your diet and training set to follow on the day of your show or the morning after your show. So you have clear, set structure from a nutrition standpoint and training. Then the most important thing is creating your timeline. The way I like to reverse engineer my timelines is working backwards from my next show. I know that I want to be stepping back on stage October, November time next year. I know roughly how long I will need to prep, and I know how long each phase will take. So I will give you an example of my current timeline, which is 5 to 6 week recovery health phase. I know based off my blood work, which you have all seen in previous videos, I will only need 5 weeks to restore my health fully. So I only need 6 weeks in this health phase currently, and then I will transition into a 23-week off-season phase, where I will aim to probably add around 30 pounds of body weight across 23 weeks. Then I will enter my pre-prep phase, which will take 5 weeks, into my contest prep, which is going to last 21 weeks. That is my entire timeline set for this year and the next, leading into my next show, with clear goals around how much body weight I need to gain and a clear sense of direction of where I'm heading and how each phase will look, with periodization of my training and my supplementation. This gives me a clear vision of what I am working towards, which is extremely important, not just to maintain your motivation and drive to keep working, but it gives you clarity in what you actually need to do and the actions you need to take in order to make progress and become the best version of yourself. Next point is upholding your daily discipline. Focus on sleep, maintain your daily routine, and maintain the good habits that you have created in prep. I see this over and over again. The second prep is over, people lose the day-to-day structure, the meal timing goes out the window, sleep and wake time start to get skewed, and then all of a sudden, the progress starts to diminish. The reason why I was able to thrive so much in prep is simply because you was able to stick to a very, very structured schedule with your wake times, sleep times, and with your day-to-day structure. Do not lose the sight of your goal, stay disciplined, and maintain your structure on a day-to-day basis. Your daily routine is the foundation of your success. Down. What is up, guys? Welcome back. If you are looking for coaching or consultations, please visit Team MK Coaching, link in the description below, and see what we can do for you guys. Next point, your post-show phase is a recovery phase. This is where you aim to get as healthy as possible. If you are assisted, make sure you remove all of the toxic supplementation that you are using and stick to your baseline supplementation that is required to maintain your muscle. If you are natural, this doesn't apply to you. However, you still need to leverage supplementation such as omegas and high quality nutrition in order to recover as quickly as possible and essentially get yourself as healthy as possible, because even for a natural, you will see some skewing of blood markers, especially your thyroid, your testosterone levels, all will be tanked by the end of prep. As your body goes through the process of getting stage lean, it's inevitable and unfortunately it's unavoidable. Use your post-show phase as a health phase and a recovery phase, priming your body for growth, as essentially the healthier you are, the more progress you will always make. Next point, guys, training. Set up your training with appropriate training volume. A lot of people go into the training post-show with high levels of motivation and very often make the mistake of overdoing the training volume. Post-show, I would argue, is the time where your training volume should be at its lowest, not only giving you an opportunity to recover, giving you connective tissue and joints a rest, but also giving you the ability to create a runway for progression into your off-season. You want to use your post-show phase as a time, and you want to create a window of opportunity to create a runway for progression within your training, within your nutrition, and within your supplementation. So essentially, everything has to start low. And then over time, you start slowly building up your training volume, your nutrition, and your supplementation, as they all actually go hand in hand in order to not only not use your tools up prematurely, but create the ability to use extra tools for progression to get through sticking points in order to keep progression moving forward into your health phase and into your off season and beyond. Last but not least, guys, it's not just about staying disciplined. Bodybuilding is a game of patience. You have to remain patient with your food, your training, and your progression. You have to understand some things when it comes to the sport is that you cannot force muscle on. A lot of people are under the impression that you can actually eat your muscle on, and that's just not the case. It's not possible to force a ton of calories and force muscle. It's just not realistic, and it's not what happens in real world. Very often when people do that, they just get extremely fat and out of shape. And if someone's super lean, initially, yes, they will look good for a few weeks. And then guess what? Week 6 happens, week 8, week 9 of the actual rebound, and they just end up looking like a Michelin man. Stay patient in pursuit of progression. Understand that it's training and consistency that leads to muscle growth, not just calories alone. And the way I explain this to clients is, when you are filling up a car, right, you can only fill up so much fuel into the car. Your calories are your fuel. You only need a sufficient amount of fuel to facilitate training recovery and have the ability to progress. Any additional fuel is only going to spill over. Any additional fuel that you put in will inevitably need to be stored in one way or another. Once your liver glycogens are full, once your calorific needs are met with a small calorie surplus, going higher within a calorie surplus will not actually build more muscle. All this will do then, guys, is lead to more body fat gain, more inflammation, worse health markers, especially cholesterol, and less progress with less time spent in your off season. On that bombshell, guys, you have all the tools that you need to be able to nail your post-show or reverse diet. Now, if you want to do this in the best way possible, email teamakcoaching.co.uk, click the link below and see how we can help you through either our coaching or our mentorship program. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to support me, subscribe to the channel, like the video, make sure you comment below if you have enjoyed it. Anything you need from Trained by JP, code Kuba10. Anything you need from Hardbody, code Kuba. Thank you, guys. Peace out. Take care. Goodbye for now.